What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about how, first of all, you can get business credit or what the banks are doing right now. What is the market of lending and banking? What's going on? And what should you look for? What requirements are important? I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to give you the game on it because I am in the trenches and hopefully you will be soon as well. But if this is your first time on the channel, my name is Zach. Some people call me Rip. This is where I talk all things personal credit, business credit, and funding, like today. And then, of course, travel hacking. As you see, plenty of videos on how I travel hack and how you can get way more value out of your points and miles. But let's jump into it. What is going on with the banks right now? Are things tightening? Yes. Things have been tightening in the banking and lending world. And when that happens, the banks want more verification. They want more proof that you are someone they can trust. And when that happens, there are certain requirements or things that you should think about when going to banks, applying to credit cards, applying to business cards, applying to BLOCs, applying to loans, applying to all these things that we call lending and lending practices. So let's talk about some of the key requirements that I'm seeing and what you can do to be prepared. So because banks are tightening, they want more proof, they want more requirements, they want to understand whether they can trust you. Because over the last year or so, imagine someone came to you, a friend came to you, and they asked for $10,000 and they just decided they didn't want to pay you back, but then they came back a year later and they asked for another 10,000. Would you give it to them? No. So the banks have been burned by a lot of bad I went not bad individuals, but people that just have not handled their debt and handled their money that they've been given from the banks very well. So they have their ears up, they have their eyes up, they want to lend to people that have good things going on. So the most important thing right now, and it's always the most important thing, especially when it comes to business lending, is going to be your personal credit report. I talk about this every time with people that I work with people in the community. Your personal credit, if you can lay the foundation of your personal credit and build that up, that will help you with business lending and business funding for years to come, not just once. So what does that mean? You need to have higher comparable credit limits right now. You need to have credit cards that are 10, 15, 20K plus. The total amount of credit on your personal side is very important because when the banks pull your credit, no matter what, because they're pulling your credit, they're not just asking for business, income or anything like that. Like, yes, they are, but they're not asking for tax statements. It's right. They're still pulling your personal credit. They want to see, okay, this guy's got quite a bit of credit limits on the personal side. They don't want to see that you have 5K because if you have 5K of limits on the personal side, just because you're applying to the business, what makes you think that they're going to give you 25K? They aren't. They want to see on the personal credit report that you can handle larger limits. So if you have multiple cards at 25, 30K, if you have multiple cards, your total credit limits are 100K plus, they're going to be like, okay, dang, this guy or girl can handle a large amount of credit limits and they make 100% payment history, right? Your credit report, 100% payment history, low utilization, under 10% right now, massive. They don't want to lend to anyone in terms of high utilization, right? That's also why having high credit limits is really important. So high comparable credit limits, massive. Low utilization, no derogatories, no missed payments. If they see that 100% payment history, this person's report looks clean, they can handle 50, 60, 100K plus on the personal side, and they keep making their payments, great, we can trust you more. That's one thing to be aware of. Second thing, credit age can be very important on the business side. If you've applied to a lot of cards and your credit age is under a year, right, that's not going to look that good. They want to see that someone has, gotten lending and been with the banks for a longer period of time. I would say if you can thicken up your credit age, add authorized users, get your average credit age 3 to 4 years or more, that's going to be really good for you. Credit age can be really important on the business funding side. So comparable credit limits, business funding. Now, the other thing, this is going to be number 2. Honestly, I should have said it before, but this is going to be the second most important part outside of making sure your personal credit is top tier. And that's going to be building relationships, right? Having a relationship with a bank is really important right now. Think of it as foreplay, to be honest. Like, you have to have foreplay with the bank before they give you the bag, right? Have to have foreplay with the bank before they give you the bag. So think about that. When you are looking at applying to banks, you should open up a business checking account or at least have a personal credit relationship. If you're going to go to Chase and you want to chase the bag, you can't just apply and expect them to give you 30, 40K. Those limits are created when you have a personal relationship, business or personal cards that you're paying off and you have good size limits on them, and or opening business checking accounts. Open business checking accounts with banks. A lot of them right now too, especially in this economy, are going to require you or they're going to want you. It's going to help you out if you have that relationship for over 6 months. You've deposited some money. Okay. Depositing money in there, having that season a little bit. Now, this is going to be game right here because most people won't tell you this, but if you plan on applying to cards 60, 90 days before you apply, you should set up some deposits because right now, as people used to say, you can just throw a ton of money into a checking account and you're good to go. Yeah, it can work. It used to work a lot better to throw a lot of money, a big bag into a business checking account. And then it shows, right? Hey, this guy has some money. We're going to help it out. Right now, they're actually looking at transaction volume. So what I would recommend is 60, 90 days before you plan on applying to certain products, I would say set up some weekly or bi-weekly deposits into that business checking account. Show transactions, boom, boom. You don't have to put a ton. If you want, put $50 to $100 every single week, every other week. At least have something consistently going into that account and showing transaction volume, things happening rather than being stagnant. So those are going to be the most important things right now. That is what I'm seeing in the marketplace. That is what I'm seeing in the lending space and in banking. They are tightening, but they want certain requirements that are going to make you look better. And they don't want to lend to people that they don't necessarily feel like they can trust. So if you're trying to go out there and get a quick bag, you're just going to pretty much screw yourself with low limits because you didn't listen to this video and you didn't really prepare for what's going on. Now, I will say my thought process in terms of the lending space, will it continue like this? Yeah, it will continue like this. It has been like this this is what I've been talking about for the last year and a half. This is, the way that I'm saying right now, this is how you should be handling your accounts, how you should be handling your credit. That's how you should always handle it. Shake hand with the bank before, you do business with them, get to know them, build that relationship, make sure your personal credit is top tier. But I will say if interest rates lower, I do think the floodgates will open a little bit because if you guys don't know, when you put money in the banks are investing your money. They don't actually hold it in there. So when interest rates are high, they have less yield on their investments. So they have to get into higher or riskier investments to then make money. Now, if it drops, right, they have more yield that they can make money on. So they're typically lending out more because they're now making a certain percentage more than they were before. So that's what I see. If interest rates do lower, it could possibly get a little bit, they could throw, more money around. But in my opinion, I think they're going to continue to be tighter. I think they're going to continue to want to lend to people that they trust. And it's important that you set everything else up the way that it should, that I talked about today. So that is what I'm giving you guys. That's what the market looks like. Hopefully that is helpful for you so that you can access and or get business credit and lending during this time, during this year in 2024 and 2025. As always, I appreciate you guys being here. Drop down below what you guys are seeing. Maybe if you've done recent applications, drop some data points down below for the people. And if you want to work with me directly, you can reach out to me down below with the link or my calendar, and we can see if it's a good fit, see if there's a way that we can help you out. Or you can join the free school community, learn some things where I talk all things personal credit and or travel hacking and business credit and some data points there. You can join that. But like I said, as always, appreciate you guys for being here. We'll talk to you next time.
Peace.